We completed the outside of the igloo that represented ourselves, and we completed the inside, which represented the household family. These two parts of the igloo teach the importance of having a healthy lifestyle. But it is not only important to have stability in ourselves and in our family. We also have to include and reach out to the community by being good citizens in our community, living peacefully with community members, and this is what we will learn in this section of the igloo, which is the porch. The igloo needs a porch, and this porch was used to store valuable belongings, such as men's and women's equipment, winter clothing, tools, and meat. The porch is a very important and useful part of the igloo. It is the entrance, exit, and it keeps the igloo warmer. In this section, the porch represents living peacefully with community members. When we were growing up, part of our upbringing focused on living peacefully with others. It seemed easy to do at the time. We learned so much by living closely with other community members. When I was being raised as a child, it was normal to learn from others as they demonstrated the importance of peaceful living and respect. In order to have a healthy community, we must learn to live peacefully with other community members to make sure that community members are well and that the community as a whole is well too. We will start from block number 1. Observing community members non-judgmentally. This block is about having good observation skills, being a good role model, and being honest and true. How can we observe our community members in a non-judgmental way? How can we try to observe our community members more positively? I will use more modern examples here. We can observe our community members positively through their work and their workplaces as they participate in running different things in the community, or as they take part in contributing to ongoing projects. We can observe them working as board members or volunteering on community projects, starting up new projects or assignments at work, constructing houses, purchasing their own homes. It can be through anything. How do we observe what they work on or the personal projects they undertake positively? When we were growing up as children, this is how it used to be. The villages had a leader. The big boat owner was the person in charge and was a role model, the person to ask questions to, and who was good to rely on. Some of the leaders were different. Some were good role models, and some were not so good to follow. If the person was mean, he made the village uncomfortable through his meanness. The ones who were good role models and lived well with others created welcoming communities and community members. The person who had the most equipment, the one who had good belongings, good tools, who was a very capable hunter and had good dogs, he helped to provide for other community members who were less fortunate. He helped to show the importance of helping by being a role model to others. How can we help others? We can help those in need by giving them food, sharing with those who do not have enough, visiting the sick, and helping to care for them. These are some examples. This is how it was in the past. Community members could go to the leader boat for a ride. Even though it wasn't our boat, it was his boat, it was fine to go hunt with him. A few of the family groups would go with him and his family, even though it was not their own boat. That is how they would help each other. In those days, all the men did not have boats as they do today. Looking at this porch block today, what are some things that we think are running well in our community? Although times are different, what are some examples of things that help make a healthy community run well today? It could be jobs, workplaces, boards, the hamlet, volunteer groups, women, men, and teenagers helping other youth to be good role models. How can we observe all these things without judgment? How can we let them know we view them positively, even if we do not completely agree with them? How can we help our community members to trust in them and in each other, to have a good outlook on community members working or undertaking projects? There are writing spaces to write your own thoughts in the workbook, as it would take a whole day to complete the porch together. I am condensing this now to go through it more quickly. Now on to porch block number 2. This means living peacefully with others and honoring others. We talked about living peacefully at home. This block is about living peacefully with community members. How can we do this? By valuing each other's strengths, by knowing that we are each capable, by believing that we are working to the best of our abilities, and by sharing these beliefs with others. We can live peacefully with our community members by being proud of them and being proud for them, by giving them the opportunity to use their abilities and valuing their knowledge. Everyone has different strengths and abilities that we have gained through work and life. Valuing each other's contributions and showing pride in our fellow community members helps each of us to be more motivated. Sharing your pride in and appreciation of community members is itself a valuable contribution you can offer to the community. Belittling others and saying they can't do anything can have a negative effect. In order to live well with others, we need to speak encouraging words of praise. Even if we do not know someone well or are not the best of friends with them, we must believe in their abilities and be open to their ideas instead of criticizing or disparaging them. For instance, if I were speaking to someone about you, I would let them know that you are trustworthy, not only verbally, but through actions. I would share how capable you are. All people have capabilities, and we can help make others aware of that. We can share our knowledge of people's abilities in our community. Try to avoid making statements such as, "They don't try hard enough." Even those who seem to never try to do things or who seems to not do enough can be viewed positively by other people. Helping to make community members value and honor people's abilities is a good way to contribute to living peacefully with others. How would you feel if people in your community were not pleased with you? Not everyone acts in a way that honors others. Even if a person does not honor you, you have to keep standing. You have to try to overlook how they feel about you. If someone speaks badly of you and you take no notice of them, it discourages their behavior. By being ignored, they will stop talking badly. We have to find ways to stop people from speaking negatively. On to number 3. We are at the first level of the porch. Number 3 talks about looking for ways to be helpful to others. In what ways can we be of help in our community? Who are the people that need help? What things in our community need help? There are different ways to help others. It helps others when you visit them. It helps elders when you go to see them and assist them. It is helpful to visit the sick and those who are grieving due to a loss in the family. You can take them some bannock or any food. It helps when you provide clothing or feed the hungry. It helps when you speak to a distressed family. It helps to lift them up when they are down. It helps to volunteer as a board member or to contribute in any way you can. It is helpful when you donate something through your work. These are just some examples of ways that we can help at the community level. It is important to try to adapt to the ways of the community. I wonder how it would be if we went to Greenland. I wonder what culture or traditions we would see there. Would I be able to use my own ways there? Would my ways be acceptable there? It is obvious that I would have to see their own ways and approaches, so that I begin by understanding. In the same way, we can have differences in how we approach things in our communities. Even though we're all Inuit, our ways usually differ from those in other communities. Wherever we go, everyone has different ways. If I went to Cape Dorset, I would have to learn how they do things there. If I went to Pangnirtung, I would have to see how they do things and find out what connections they want to have or use in helping the community in order not to disturb the community or make unnecessary changes. We can help in many ways as long as we don't speak negatively, belittle or criticize others, put people down when speaking to others or in public announcements, act badly towards others, or engage in other behaviors that harm or disturb others. In trying to be helpful, we must also avoid disturbing others or trying to change their ways. We are moving on to the second level. This porch we're making is about sharing the best of ourselves with each other. What do we have to show others? What can we share of ourselves with our community? The purpose of this is not to show others. This is me. Look at how good I am. It is not about bragging. Block number 4 is about having good standing in your community. It is about sharing all that is positive in you, in your personality, your attitude, your voice, your facial expression, your actions, your work. When you have good standing in the community, it draws others to you and encourages others to like you. At any time, someone can acknowledge good things about you, even when you least expect it. At the same time, one person may notice you while another may not. One person will see the positive things you are doing and share this with others. Helping other community members to see and appreciate how much good you have been contributing to the community. This reputation for having a good standing in your community will follow you, even if you move to another community that is not your own. Many of us live in different communities from where we were raised. When you are new in a community, people seem to notice you more than in your home community where you weren't noticed as much. You are outstanding, not invisible. You act as a good role model by not hurting others, not causing damage to people's lifestyles, minds, hearts, or through their actions. What does it mean to be of good standing in your community? You can draw something in the workbook to demonstrate this if there is time. There are also other activities in the workbook for this section. Now on to number 5. Treating others with respect. How do we demonstrate kindness? We can do this in different ways, various ways. You can show kindness through your facial expression, your openness, your voice. You may share kindness by sharing your food often or by opening your home to others. Some people show respect and kindness with everything they do in life. When you ask some people for something, they respond very kindly to your question. Kind people are easy to approach. Some people show their kindness through what they do. Some show it through their personality. Some people are open to everyone. They can live with anyone. It doesn't matter who it is. They are kind to them. All of these qualities can exist in you. You may have all of them and demonstrate them regularly. If someone comes to visit you, you are welcoming. If they come to see you, you have ways to welcome them. No matter what the event, you have it in you to show kindness. How should we deal with those that show us disrespect? There may be someone who is upset with you. How do we deal with that? Do we respond with kindness or do we show unkindness? There are different ways to respond. You can copy this person's unkindness by being unkind to them in return. However, if you show kindness and try to make peace with him or her, you can find out that you can turn that person around. It is up to you if you do not want to try to influence her to make peace. You can postpone that moment for later, if you think you have a reason to wait for it. If people see your kindness, they will find you approachable. When you are open to others, they tend to come to you. At work, if they find you kind, they will not want to lose you. Treating community members with kindness and respect is very important. If we are unkind and not welcoming, those who need our assistance will be afraid to approach us because of unkindness. They will become reluctant to try to approach someone who may be unkind. We must treat others with kindness and respect so that we are approachable.
Tāna tau te tarapeki unnartavu. Tungana kotiin aakisollutiku nuallutiku. Uqarsimayo. Sassimuuqunga.
I thought I was moving on to block number 7, but seeing this, I realized the next block is number 6. We are going on to porch block number 6. Sharing happiness with others. Sharing our happiness out in the community. Can we do this? Can we share our happiness with the community? Can you take the happiness that comes from inside you and spread it to the outside? To me? Or can I bring your happiness to my hometown? Is it visible to the outside? Can you give some of your happiness to others? Does happiness have to be spread through words? Or can you show it like a light bulb? Yes, your happiness shines in you like a light bulb. It can spread without you noticing it. You can pass it on. Even without noticing it, it can be spread to others. People are drawn to it. It can soften hard feelings. It can lift the emotions of those who are down in their life. It can lighten up those who are going through hard times. It can encourage and welcome those who have had trouble taking part. Would people think there is something wrong about you showing happiness? Do people think the only time for happiness is Christmas time? Can't we share our happiness every day? We can share happiness every day. Even when there is hardship, we can find happiness. Happiness springs from inside you. It is possible to glow with happiness, to have happiness glowing from you. You don't need to mention it. It has no sound, or the sound is subtle. The glow of happiness is subtle, but people can see it in you. How can you share your happiness? You can write your thoughts and brainstorm ways to show happiness. You can make or draw something about it. Happiness is wonderful. It eliminates unhappiness. On to block number 7, which is meet with others in community, or being able to meet with others in your community. How do we meet with others? People hold meetings for different reasons, for annual general meetings, for social issues. There are specific meetings held for mothers and fathers, for teenagers, for community planning, for healing sessions or Bible studies. People meet for church, for weddings, and other types of gatherings, for community feasts, for reconciliation gatherings, exercise programs, sports, birthdays. These are all different ways that you can be invited to take part in the community. In order to live well with others, you need to show them kindness. No matter where we are or what we are doing, we need to be kind to others. We need to encourage people to be kind to other community members by showing kindness, not by scaring or threatening them. Now on to number 8. Having compassion for others. We can show compassion by being sympathetic towards people who have just lost someone. How would we show them compassion? We could do this in different ways. For example, we could go see them to help them with their grieving. What does this mean? Helping them to not grieve too much, or helping to make it easier for them? Yes, so their grieving can be lessened. Grieving due to a loss in the family is different for different people. For some, grieving can be a deep mourning in the heart. Some grieve more lightly, and the grief is not too hard for them to handle. And some grieve very deeply and experience more difficulty in their grief. When grief is deeper, a person can seem to be lost in their life. It may even take a year for the person to get back to their normal self. They may not be able to eat or sleep or approach life in their usual way, and their feelings take time to return to normal. Lighter grieving doesn't take as long to process. We can help a person to move through their grieving process in a healthy way by keeping them occupied, going to see them occasionally, bringing some food to them, letting them visit us, or comforting them. This is how we can help a person who is grieving a loss. Another kind of grieving is not due to a loss in the family, but to depression, caused by hurts in life, by falling on hard times, or being lost in self. These people need us to help them through the process of getting back to normal, to help them to regain the strength they need. When someone loses a loved one, we cannot rush the grieving process. They have to be free to go through it. We can't stop them, but we can make it easier for them. When someone is in a depression, it can take a long time to recover due to their inner pain. We cannot ignore them. There has to be help given to them from the community to help them get through the depression. We can help them through the work that needs to be done to help them to regain themselves. They can regain their lives and return to normal. What are some things that could help someone get over depression? There are many ways to do this. We can help them to recover through healing, assistance with overcoming addictions, encouraging them and believing in them in the same way we do for others, knowing that they are good people too. This in turn helps them to see ways and possibilities for getting over their depression. We need to help people understand what depression is, raise awareness about it, and how to deal with it. Now on to the last block, number 9. Being unable to protect all. Why is it that I am unable to protect everyone when we feel guided to protect everyone? Why are we told to protect others? There are many ways to protect people, right? But it seems that there is a limit to our ability to protect others. This is quite true. We are unable to protect everyone, even though we want them to be safe. We want them to protect themselves. But even though we live with them in the same community, we are unable to protect everyone. We will not always know how others are doing. We need to take into account the fact that everyone needs their own space and time. Everyone has their own process. Even when we try to do things to protect others, unexpected events come up that prevent us from being able to do this. Ideas or strategies are shared through the news or on the radio to help us protect people. But even so, events can arise so suddenly that we aren't able to protect them, even though these ideas were shared. That is why I am saying we are unable to protect all in the community. When something happens to a community member, many people think afterwards that they could have protected them. But often, you could not have protected the person as he was going through real issues. Blaming ourselves, thinking that we could have protected them, causes us to then become depressed. We must understand that what happened was going to happen that way. It was for a reason. Yes, it is good to have protected someone in our lives, at least one person who was in danger. 2 years ago, while we were boating, our stove caught on fire. There was myself, my daughter, 2 grandchildren, and a small child. There was 6 of us on the boat. We were boating in the open water and the land was quite far. Our grandchild went into the cabin of the boat with the small child. The stove was in the cabin and he lit it to make tea. And suddenly, the fire rushed out of the cabin. The interior of the cabin was already full of fire, and there was 3 children in there, and one of them was very small. Those of us outside in the cabin were already moving back and getting ready to jump into the water. My husband took out the flaming stove from the cabin and threw it in the ocean. He scooped water from the sea and poured it wherever there was fire. There were still people inside, and they moved to the interior of the cabin. Our grandchild, who is almost a teenager, shielded the smaller child by hugging him and guided him out of the cabin while there was still a bit of a fire. They were fine. The only one who had small burns was my husband as he was handling the fire. Parts of his clothes melted. I'm using this as an example to show how my husband protected all of us when the rest of us would have just watched and done nothing. Sometimes in our life, we do not get to protect others in sudden events, but there is a limit to our ability to protect everyone. This block let us know that even though we are unable to protect everyone, even though we can't protect people in all situations, we don't have to blame ourselves. We also don't have to try to anticipate ways for everything or everyone to be protected at all times. When there are tragedies, we start to rack our brains and say, maybe if we had done this, we would have protected them. And we imagine that what we come up with would have worked, but in reality, we are unable to protect everyone. There will be a limit to our ability to protect others. This porch, which we have completed, represents living peacefully with community members. You have to be a good member of the community. Although you cannot make your community perfect, you can make yourself a good member of your community. Even though you can't fix everything in the community, even if the community doesn't run perfectly, it is still up to us to be good members in the community.